on page 8, halfway down. I'm going to continue reading. Let's talk about this. In Al-Anon meetings, we hear our powerlessness over alcoholism described as we didn't cause it, we can't cure it, and we can't control it. We begin to learn the basic Al-Anon premise of taking our focus off the alcoholic and keeping the focus on ourselves. Hard as it is to look at our own part of the problems, acceptance of step 1 brings relief from impossible responsibilities. We were trying to fix a disease and someone else's disease at that. Okay, if you're new here today and you don't know what I'm talking about, a couple days back, I've been doing these lives. I hope they save lives. I don't know, no, save lives. What I meant was, I hope they save the lives onto my profile thing so you can go back and watch them. I'm going to try to see how to download these. But anyway, go back and watch from the beginning. We're talking about step 1. I'm reading out of Paths to Recovery. It's an Al-Anon book. This content is for families and friends who love an alcoholic addict in advanced stages. Okay? So if that is you, this is for you. No gatekeeping here. I'm not going to try to make this content for everyone on the planet. This is for people who love an alcoholic addict and are at their wits' end. Okay? That's what we're doing here. And I'm talking about powerlessness and unmanageability. We talked about yesterday how this is a disease. It is a physical and mental disorder which affects relationships. It's a family disease. Everyone's affected. And so that's what I'm doing. Let's see what's next. To find peace and serenity in our lives, we have to change. Woo! The change word. A challenging and perhaps fearful thought. We may have to relearn to take care of ourselves. When we are focused on another person's alcoholism and behavior, many of us develop the habit of putting that person's needs first. We may suffer from low self-esteem and not believe that we deserve to take time for ourselves. Whether we judge ourselves as good or bad doesn't matter. We are always defeated by alcoholism. In Al-Anon, we will find help. Okay? So this is big. This is why I talk about this, right? You can't change someone else. This is really for everybody on the planet. All right? Let's just talk about that. The serenity prayer, right? The serenity prayer is an Al-Anon prayer. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. What are those things? Well, the courage to change the things I can. What's that? And the wisdom to know the difference. Okay? So what are the things you cannot change? Someone else, people, places, things, right? What are the things you can change? Yourself. It's a very stoic idea. If you've ever read anything about stoicism or you see it online, very stoic idea. You can only change yourself. Everything else is as it is. You know my sayings, my famous sayings that I say, watch the show, don't be the show, get off the stage and watch the show. It's all a show. It doesn't need your help. It's all going to happen. You're witnessing it, right? The only thing you can change is how you react to it. How are you going to respond to it? How are you responding to your life? Whether you have an alcoholic in your life or not, right? If you slipped into this video and this is not really your content, maybe that's why. You're here just to hear this. You cannot control what happens to you. You can only control how you respond to it, right? And I'm not talking about, what happens to you, like you get, whatever. I don't know. Your response is the only thing you have control of. You can only take care of yourself. And everybody else has their own agenda. This is a key concept into powerlessness. When you realize you're powerless. I'm really powerless over everything. Even my reactions, I have to ask God for a lot of help. Yes, I said God, higher power, the universe, whatever it is for you. I got to ask for some help. I'm got a broken reactor and I need some help here. No one else can change my reactions but me, right? And I can't change other people. This is huge. If your life's unmanageable, it's probably because you're trying to change other people. You're trying to change situations. You're trying to change outcomes, right? You're doing all the things it said in the beginning over here. It says, what says? Not understanding that alcoholism is a disease, many of us tried to take things into our own hands. We may have poured out liquor, made excuses, nagged, pleaded, begged, protected, punished. We may have hidden our feelings, isolated, avoided contact with the alcoholic, thinking the problem would go away. We've taken over their unfinished projects, answered their phone calls, covered his or her mistakes. No matter what we did, our lives did not improve and the alcoholic didn't change. That's key. So we're still pondering the first step. And it's a lot to take in. And I really still, today's homework is think about what I said. How are you responding to life? Are you trying to respond for other people? Right? Are you powerless? Do you realize that yet? How much is it going to take before you realize you're completely powerless? Think about it. Is your life unmanageable because you're trying to manage everything? Are you exhausted? Are you worn out, unappreciated? Are you victimized by your own life? Your vain attempts to get everybody straightened out? Make sure everybody's happy? Well, this is a good conversation to have with yourself. It's not until, just like the alcoholic doesn't change, and except for the consequences, right? Consequences are what changes somebody, especially codependents. Only consequences. I mean, I have seen codependents end up in the hospital, sick, have total breakdowns. They just can't take it anymore. You don't need to do that, right? That's why I'm telling you right now, there's a way out. So let's keep talking.